The silence that had blanketed the Sol system for 3 millennia shattered like crystal against stone. Deep within the Titan defense station, alarms that hadn't sounded since the Great Peace began their terrible song. Admiral Chen Vasquez felt the vibration in her bones as she sprinted down corridors that hadn't seen emergency lighting in living memory. 3,000 years. 3,000 years since humanity had needed to bare its teeth. The galaxy had forgotten what that meant. "Report!" Vasquez barked as she burst into the command center, her breath forming small clouds in the suddenly frigid air. The station's AI had automatically shifted to combat protocols, dropping temperature to optimal human performance levels. Commander Torres, a man who had spent his entire career managing peaceful trade routes, looked pale as starlight. "Ma'am, we're detecting a massive fleet dropping out of hyperspace at the system's edge. Configuration unknown. They're not responding to hails." Vasquez studied the tactical display. Hundreds of ships, sleek and predatory, arranged in perfect battle formation. The lead vessel dwarfed anything in the current human fleet. A kilometer-long monstrosity bristling with weapons that physics sensors couldn't properly identify. "IF signals?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Negative. But Admiral," Torres swallowed hard, "they're broadcasting on emergency frequencies. The message is simple. Surrender the Sol system or face extinction." For a moment, the command center fell silent except for the persistent wail of alarms. Then Vasquez began to laugh, a sound like grinding metal that made seasoned officers step back. "They want us to surrender, Sol?" She turned to face the main display, her eyes reflecting the red warning lights. "Do they have any idea what they've just done?" She activated the priority channel that connected to every human world, every station, every ship scattered across their territory. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of 3,000 years of suppressed violence. "This is Admiral Vasquez of Sol Defense. We have contact with a hostile alien fleet demanding our surrender." She paused, letting that sink in across 100 worlds. "All units are to activate Protocol Omega. I repeat, Protocol Omega is now active." Across human space, lights that hadn't flickered for millennia blazed to life. On Mars, the massive shipyards that had been building peaceful exploration vessels for centuries suddenly shifted production lines. Automated systems began converting cargo ships into weapons platforms. On Europa, the genetic laboratories stopped their medical research and began producing something far more sinister. But it was Earth that truly awakened. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in trenches where no natural light had ever penetrated, vast hangar doors groaned open for the first time in 3,000 years. The Leviathans emerged, dreadnoughts the size of cities, their hulls black as space and twice as cold. Ships built not for exploration or commerce, but for one purpose: to make galaxies burn. The alien fleet, observing from the system's edge, watched in growing confusion as peaceful trade vessels began to transform. What they had taken for merchant ships suddenly sprouted weapon arrays. Civilian stations deployed defensive grids that shouldn't have existed. Admiral Vasquez smiled as the reports flooded in. Humanity had spent 3,000 years learning, growing, becoming something the galaxy respected. But they had never forgotten what they truly were. "Sir," Torres whispered, staring at his readouts, "the Yamato is requesting permission to fire." The Yamato, the flagship of humanity's true fleet, hidden for 3 millennia in a pocket dimension, waiting, always waiting. "Tell Captain Morrison she has weapons free," Vasquez replied. "And Torres, send a message to our guests." The alien fleet received the transmission on the same emergency frequency they had used. But where they had demanded surrender, humanity offered something else entirely. "You have awakened something that has slept for 3,000 years. We gave you one chance to turn around when you entered our space. You chose to threaten our home instead. This is your education on why the galaxy was peaceful for so long. Not because we became weak, but because we became patient." The first Leviathan cleared Earth's atmosphere, its shadow falling across continents. Its weapons, singularity cannons that could crack planets, began to charge with a sound like reality tearing. "You wanted to know what humans do when cornered?" Vasquez continued, her voice now broadcast across all frequencies, ensuring every ship in the alien fleet could hear. "We remind you why your ancestors were smart enough to leave us alone." The alien commander, a being whose species had conquered 17 star systems without losing a single ship, felt something it had never experienced. Pure, primal terror. These weren't the peaceful traders and explorers their intelligence had described. The readings were wrong. All of it was wrong. The humans hadn't grown soft during their long peace. They had simply been waiting for someone stupid enough to test them. All ships, the alien commander ordered, its voice breaking. Full retreat. Full retreat now. But it was too late. The Yamato fired first. A lance of pure energy that didn't just destroy the alien flagship but erased it from existence, leaving not even wreckage behind. The other Leviathans followed, their weapons turning the proud alien fleet into scattered particles in seconds. As the few surviving alien ships fled in hyperspace, carrying news that would spread across the galaxy like wildfire, Admiral Vasquez stood in her command center and smiled. "Stand down from Protocol Omega," she ordered quietly. "Return all ships to civilian configuration." The galaxy would remember now. They would remember why humanity's 3,000 years of peace hadn't been weakness. It had been mercy. And mercy, once withdrawn, is not easily granted again.